Today, we're diving into a popular post from the Reddit titled as, "I made a free alternative to Photoshop," that is used by 3 million of people. Ask me anything. This post received 67,312 upvotes. Posted by Ivan 90. The post reads as follows. My name is Ivan Kutskir, I am 28 and live in Prague, the Czech Republic. I am the author of Photopea Photo Editor, an advanced image editor that works in a web browser. There were about 3 million visitors in June. I already did the AMA here 7 months ago with an amazing response. I would like to let you know what happened since then, and how much has Reddit helped me. Smiley face. The number of users doubled, my income quadrupled. I replaced AdSense with other ad providers. I added the support for new raw formats, actions, slices, templates and many other features. Photopea is fully translated into 38 languages by users. I got in touch, video calls, with Corel, Adobe, Google and many other tech companies, mostly from the Silicon Valley. I gave a talk about Photopea at the Web 2-Day conference in France. I still work on Photopea alone from the same apartment in Prague, on the same $500 laptop. Smiley face. I was never so excited about the progress of Photopea. Ask me anything. Smiley face. You can follow Photopea on Facebook or Twitter. Smiley face. Proof. I put a link to this AMA here. A comment from user A Parker 314159 says, "What do you think the biggest advantage of Photopea is over Photoshop? Other than being free, of course. What about GIMP?" This comment received 4693 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivan 90 says, "Unlike Photoshop, Photopea can open almost any structured graphics file, XD, Sketch, SVG, PDF, XCF, Corel, and save them in a PSD format. There is a vectorize image, bitmap tracing feature and several other features that are not present in Photoshop. Also, Photopea runs on Linux, Chrome OS, Android, iOS and anywhere else where you have a browser." Smiley face. Unlike GIMP, Photopea fully supports the PSD format, so it has features such as layer styles, adjustment layers, smart objects, smart filters, text warping etc. This reply received 7179 upvotes. A comment from user Coloses says, "I got in touch, video calls, with Corel, Adobe, Google and many other tech companies, mostly from the Silicon Valley. Could you say something more about that in general? I am curious." This comment received 1150 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivan 90 says, "They were also curious. They asked me various questions. What are the capabilities of Photopea? What plans do I have for the future, etc. In case of Google, I received a direct contact to a Chrome developer, so I can report my opinions and findings directly to him, and be sure that they will be noticed." Smiley face. This reply received 1531 upvotes. A comment from user Andre Red says, "How old were you when you created it? And what was your background in?" This comment received 145 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivan 90 says, "I was 21. But I did not work on it full-time until 26." Smiley face. Here you can find more details. https://blog.photopea.com/introduction.html. This reply received 207 upvotes. A comment from user Squid50 says, "What inspired you to create this? P.S. I've recommended Photopea to multiple people on Reddit. Keep up the incredible work." This comment received 1693 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivan 90 says, "Originally, it was just a little experiment, 100 hours of work. I was curious about what can be done in a browser. I kept improving it to a point when it actually became usable. It took years. See the last AMA. P.S. Thanks for your recommendations. Closing parenthesis. This reply received 1704 upvotes. A comment from user Rhinosaur24 says, "Is it pronounced Photopea, like Utopia but with photo? Or like Photopea?" This comment received 988 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, I pronounce it like a vegetable pea, or like black-eyed peas smiley face. This reply received 1165 upvotes. A comment from user Eddie Mercoz says, I'm sure this plans to remain a web app, but have you thought about porting it to a desktop program? Seems like it would be easier to integrate into people's workflows, with the ability to open files with Photopea, and ability to use offline. Can you support yourself with the ad revenue? Do you have other similar projects planned? Thanks. The .psd file support is amazing. And amazing it is better than the work of all the people at GIMP. You're amazing. This comment received 1066 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, I was always afraid that it would take me too much time to maintain several native versions. But soon, such capabilities, like opening files in Photopea from a desktop, will be possible through a web app. You can already press more. Install Photopea to add an icon to your home screen. Yes, I have been able to support myself with the ad revenue in the past 2 years smiley face. At the moment, I plan to add new features to Photopea. Thanks for your compliments. Closing parenthesis. This reply received 1298 upvotes. A comment from user Adam Adler 12 says, what did you replace with AdSense with? How did it increase your income? This comment received 174 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, I tried www.setupad.com, www.valueimpression.com and www.pubgalaxy.com. They all work in a similar way. The revenue increased ABU out 3x if compared with AdSense. But I think they require you to have large traffic, as they tune ads manually for each client. This reply received 282 upvotes. A comment from user Andrew42 says, there are several alternatives to Photoshop, but very few alternatives to Publisher, InDesign other than Scribus. Would you consider something like that for your next project? This comment received 433 upvotes. A comment from user CyberGamer1 says, I'm stupid so ignore if this doesn't make sense, but has there been any legal troubles with Adobe, I think? The Photoshop company, because of both programs being so similar? This comment received 230 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, I was never contacted by anybody regarding this matter. There are many more programs in this category, which are all quite similar. But Adobe Photoshop is the most famous one. This reply received 299 upvotes. A comment from user Mr. Danny Ocean says, have you ever been contacted by any big names in the tech world with monetary offers? This comment received 333 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, I have been offered acquisitions, but not by big names, which I refused. It feels like everybody wants to see what will happen next, before they make any offers. This reply received 616 upvotes. A comment from user Brananyan says, do you plan on making an ad-free service for a set amount? Or do you always intend on keeping it free and getting your revenue from ads? This comment received 226 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, you can buy a premium account. Press account at the top, which is ad-free smiley face. But most importantly, the user interface is wider, as it stretches to a space where the ad was. This reply received 414 upvotes. A comment from user Fishy Sushi says, this is amazing. Used it before but didn't know the story behind it. As a CS, Econ major myself, how did you learn all the skills you needed to create something like this? This comment received 350 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, at the beginning, I did not need any advanced knowledge, basic programming skills were enough. Later, I had to learn about advanced algorithms, to add some advanced features. But my CS degree definitely helped me understand all the terminology, so it was not very hard. I also had to learn about many standards, such as PSD, PDF, PostScript, PNG, TIFF, OpenType. It has nothing to do with science. You just have to go through hundreds of pages of specifications to be able to implement that standard. And you return to these specifications from time to fix problems in your implementation. Smiley face. This reply received 715 upvotes. A comment from user Jarpa_L says, "Hey, love the program. Are there any plans on allowing users to create selections with the pen tool? Using the pen path to form a selection was probably one of my favorite aspects of Photoshop." This comment received 58 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "Yes, I do plan to make it work this way." Smiley face. https://github.com/photopea/issues/1068. This reply received 70 upvotes. A comment from user Niueue Duanku Kojiao says, "What's bigger in Prague, hockey or basketball?" This comment received 332 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "Everybody watches hockey during a World Cup, but it is football for the rest of the year." Smiley face. This reply received 500 upvotes. A comment from user an anonymous user says, "I loved your previous AMA. Your enthusiasm and hard work really motivates me to keep going. I have Photoshop at work, but at home I use Photopea." Smiley face. So my question is, how do you keep yourself motivated to keep working on something when you don't know if it's doable or if it's going to return something to you? Like, during those years it took for you to actually develop Photopea. This comment received 119 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "Thank you." Smiley face. I believe everything is doable, but it may take a lot of time. And a big part of that time might be learning how to do it. With Photopea, I simply knew that if there is a free PSD editor, there will be people using it, as no other such program exists. But I had no idea if I would be able to monetize it, i.e. if I will be paid for my work. But it was just a hobby, so I did not care too much about the future. Smiley face. This reply received 147 upvotes. A comment from user Life Serial says, "Do you think you will try to do something like After Effects ever?" This comment received 36 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "Give me a week." This reply received 152 upvotes. A comment from user Broadband says, "Always amazing all this is possible in a browser. I prefer this over Paint.net and GIMP and find myself opening Photoshop less and less for my basic graphical needs. Have you ever considered offering this as an app in, say, Windows Store or standalone? Also, I'd love to support your work, but with how rarely I need a graphic editor, $80 annually for ad-free is outside my usage pattern, needs. Have you considered offering any other options? Thanks again and always amazes me." This comment received 230 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "I don't want to provide too many options, like pay $1 to use Photopea for 5 hours ad-free during a next year. It is okay if you don't pay directly." Smiley face. You can recommend Photopea to your friends. I appreciate it even more than money. Smiley face. This reply received 302 upvotes. A comment from user Kesserine says, "What languages is the tool primarily written in? How did you scale the infrastructure to support your user base?" This comment received 141 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "It is written in JavaScript and GLSL. As Photopea runs in your browser, there is no upload or download. It does not need any advanced hosting." This reply received 229 upvotes. A comment from user Gorilla Patrick says, "How much money do you earn from it?" This comment received 205 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "With ads, you can make between $2 to $6 per 1,000 visits on your web page. So with 3 million visits, I can make between $6,000 to $18,000 a month. It depends on a month and an ad provider. I have been testing several of them lately." This reply received 634 upvotes. A comment from user Zulord says, "What do you think about Adobe Lightroom? I like its non-destructive editing capabilities on RAW files. It could work well with a RAW file still on the user hard drive and your service might only store the editing settings. Being a casual user, I have a life subscription of old Lightroom version but it won't be a good cheap choice for me to pay a monthly subscription." This comment received 64 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "I never used Adobe Lightroom. I am not a photographer myself. I take pictures with a phone and never edit them. Photopea is for messing around with a single photo for hours, more than batch processing hundreds of photos by specific parameters." This reply received 96 upvotes. A comment from user All White Ink says, "To edit images they need to be uploaded. So what about the usage rights of the contents, images?" This comment received 419 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "Photopea runs completely in your device, just like GIMP or Photoshop do. It does not upload any of your files to the internet. You can load www.photopea.com, disconnect from the internet and keep using it completely offline. None of your files ever leaves your computer." This reply received 1702 upvotes. A comment from user Mr. Franks says, "What did you study to create a whole new software?" This comment received 51 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "My bachelor program was programming, and my master's program was called Theoretical Computer Science, Artificial Intelligence, smiley face. You can read my master thesis here. http://www.avong.net/blogspot/symmetry_breaking.pdf. It has absolutely nothing to do with image editing. Laughing face." This reply received 145 upvotes. A comment from user DeathEmperor says, "I would like to donate to you when I get my next check. Do you have a donation link?" This comment received 60 upvotes. A reply from the original author Ivanhoe90 says, "Hi, you can get a premium account, press premium at the top, and you will get Photopea ad-free smiley face." This reply received 36 upvotes. A comment from user codename Lambda says, "On GitHub. Since Photopea is not fully open source, this account serves as a place for bug reports and general discussion. Would you ever plan on changing that? As in, becoming, almost, fully open source? Most users would continue using the original site, but those wanting to hack around with it, contribute or simply learn from how it handles things would all appreciate that greatly, I'd imagine." This comment received 67 upvotes.